style of teaching is always changing. As I grow and evolve, obviously what I share changes and evolves, hopefully. It's vinyasa, it's not the same every time. It's definitely becoming more and more gentle and more internal as the years go on. But yeah, it's a fluid vinyasa style of Hatha Yoga. With meditation and pranayama, of course.
Yoga.
I started yoga when I was 21, which is in 1996, I think it was. 1996. I started kind of slowly. I wasn't super consistent for the first couple of years. And then after a couple of years, then I chose that path and have been consistent since. I started teaching in 2000, the very beginning, no, actually the very beginning of 2001 after my 9-month yoga arts teacher training course. Slowly at first, it wasn't full-time for quite some years, and then it built up more and more over the years. I'm a bit of a nomad, so I'm continuously moving between Bali, India, Japan and Australia with a few forays into the Middle East also. So I don't actually teach at one particular studio or have a studio of my own, but I do tend to teach at the same studios in the same countries year after year, and also I work with yoga arts, of course.
You the most?
It's a hard question also because there are many influences. Obviously, I've been working very closely with Louisa Sear. She's been a very dear teacher, friend, sister for a long time. Rose Baldan, also who works with yoga arts, is an influence. Clive Sheridan has been an influence. And then many just great sages and masters and enlightened beings who, living and past, who's through their books and their students have influenced me. Right now I'm very influenced by a beautiful avatar in the south of India, Sri Shakti Amma. I feel a lot of grace from that being in the last year. I tend to do a lot of the asana, unfortunately. I always complain that I'm the youngest still on the team, so I seem to always get the majority of the asana. I do love asana, of course. So I teach the morning vinyasa classes. I also teach the more in-depth technique classes, looking at the preparation, the use of props, alignment, the detailed asana classes. I also teach some moving meditation, some dance style classes. I teach female reproductive health, a little bit of pranayama sometimes, a little Ayurveda sometimes also, yeah. I love yoga arts training because I love obviously the team that I work with. I feel like I work with my dearest friends, dearest and oldest friends. And I feel that we're all very unified in our intention with that training, which is that it's very much about each person who participates in the training undertaking their own personal evolutionary process, and from that place of self-understanding then taking that into their teaching. So it's not just about learning a bunch of techniques that you can reproduce in a class, it's about taking the yoga inside yourself, making it your own, starting to live it, feel it, breathe it in every moment of your own life, and then from that you can share. I mean, the beautiful thing is that there are so many different styles of yoga teachers, so many different beings, and I think all the different flavors make it interesting and make it also appealing to all sorts of different human beings who choose to practice yoga. I think essential qualities are honesty with oneself, first and foremost, honesty with students, but particularly with oneself, courage, compassion for oneself as one grows and changes, and then that obviously overflows into compassion for students, compassion for all beings, and the commitment to keep opening oneself to live as love, essentially. Be patient, be honest, don't pretend you're capable of anything more than you're actually capable of. keep learning, keep practicing, and keep sharing, because through the sharing of the teaching, inevitably you keep learning, and I think it accelerates the learning without putting too much pressure on yourself to be anything beyond what you're able to be right now. Don't pay too much attention to this voice in the head, the critical voice, but keep practicing. That's the most important thing. It's ultimately about each person's own yoga, not about being a teacher or having a job from that. That's the overflow. I personally have not published any books or DVDs, although I have been in. A dear friend, Jessie Chapman, who's based in Byron Bay in Australia, has produced 4 books, partner yoga, different yoga sequences. So I think I've been in a couple of those, pictures only. I myself have not published. No, it's not actually something that I'm busy with right now. I have this vision of myself in my latter years writing. I very much like writing. I very much enjoy the process of putting my thoughts and feelings into a clear structure. I love language and communication, but I feel a bit like the stories aren't quite ripe in me yet. I'm perhaps too young to do that. It's not really a mental idea, it's just a feeling that maybe when I'm a little older, I think to be a really great teacher you need to be probably about more than 60. And I'm only 36. Yes, I'm 36. There are 6 of us, although my mother passed away 11 years ago, so my mama is not here in body, but she floats around for sure. I'm the youngest of 4 children. I have a brother, 2 sisters, myself. Both my sisters have husbands and kids. One has 3 kids, one has 4 kids. My brother's married, trying to have a child now. Probably one will arrive soon. Yeah. None of them do yoga. One, in fact, does, but she's kind of more physical about it. What kind of food do I like?
Or anything particular you have?
Food. I like lots of things. I like clean, kind of soulful food, but I also love sweets. Quite like, uncle and people are always giving me sweets. They know I like sweets. What else do I like? I just like good kind of wholesome food cooked with lots of love. I've got quite a good appetite. Yeah. It's not very specific, sorry guys.